Who's Scruffy-Looking?
Hello there, all you Gormans and Phyrexians, and welcome to the Scruffy-Looking podcast, the show where we talk about all things related to that galaxy far, far away. My name's Dakota Hayden, and alongside with me is my co-host and dad, Mark Hayden Jr.
Hello.
How you doing, Dad?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing well as well. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about, and we have even more so to talk about. So fingers crossed, my plan is to have this episode released before the rest of the series comes out, but I say we cut straight into it. Andor Season 2. We are halfway through, and, well, what's your initial take? Or what are your initial thoughts?
I just thought of something real quick first, though.
What you got?
Is there Gamorreans on with the Gormans?
Gormans with the Gormans?
Do we have Gorman Gamorreans?
Gorman Gamorreans? That's a tongue twister for you. Some Gorman Gamorreans.
Yeah, some Gorman Gamorreans.
Yeah, see? I'm already lost.
Back to your question. I like it. I'm a little disappointed because I don't love it. I thought I was going to, because I love the first season.
Yes.
And I like it. There's just something missing for me with it. I kind of, you know the style of the writing and how, you got a lot of dialogue going into it.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the second season, I still want that. But I felt the action they got so much to cover. Mm-hmm. I feel like the action needed to tick up a little bit. And after the first 3 episodes, I thought, okay, maybe it'll uptick a little bit. And I don't know, when the first 2 episodes lead into like the big event into the 3rd episode.
Yes.
Those big events in the 3rd episode so far have just kind of felt a little flat to me. I mean, it didn't seem like as big a deal as they were building it up what was going to happen, I guess. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know.
And I don't not like it. I really wanted to be like, kind of, wow, I haven't had like a really, I did have one wow moment, or we're spoiling, right?
Yeah.
I was surprised when, Saul's base was the base from Force Awakens on the car. Surprise. Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty neat. So,
that was a cool.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting that. So that kind of made, I kind of like, oh, that's cool. So,
and I liked how they revealed Yavin
4.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
when he took off and I started seeing the pyramids and I was like, oh, hey, there's Yavin. So,
so that was
we'll
that
be
was
back
cool
there. So,
yeah. And, I wonder what will influence the decision for them to, this is going to be our base of operations. Uh-huh. We're going to land here.
Yeah.
So.
And were those rebels there was that maybe the worst part of the series so far, the 2nd season?
Yeah.
I felt like it was drug on too much.
I agree.
It
did good in showing Cassian's character, which I don't know if that's what they were shooting for, to kind of show how far along he is as kind of a leader-esque and his knowledge base on how to handle situations like this. So for a character development, I like to see that, but I do agree with you. I think it might have drug on just a little bit.
And I know that's kind of how Gilroy does it, and I know there's things in the first season that kind of took a while to develop.
Yes.
I don't know. Those guys just, and honestly, I thought the wedding was neat, but I thought maybe that drug just a little long too.
Yeah.
Especially for the payoff we got, for the final episode of the arc. Mm-hmm. I felt like, I needed some more time for this and maybe a little less time there.
Yeah.
So not saying, I think the costumes and the music, I think everything is good.
Yeah, everything was great.
I don't know, just missing something on top of the cake or something there a little bit. So.
I agree, and I worry because, so far Andor's been received well, and the ratings are good and everything like that. I am worried about the people who weren't necessarily into season 1 just with how slow.
Yeah, they're definitely not getting like this one.
No, they're not. They're not getting what they were looking for, hoping for season 2.
And when he stole that TIE Avenger, I liked the whole how he didn't know how to fly it and everything. Which I haven't gone back and rewatched it now, but I guess somewhere along there that wasn't the one he's supposed to steal.
Yeah, he mentioned something.
Okay, I missed that part then.
Yeah,
okay, because I thought, well, that's kind of weird that he was there to steal that, and then he didn't train or study how to fly it.
Yeah.
I missed that part then somehow. I don't,
I believe he mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere that this wasn't the one he was supposed to grab.
Okay, and that makes sense. And I read that someplace else. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. But that was all cool and fun. But then they never explained to you why he stole it.
That is I don't recall.
I don't
anywhere in the episode why he did it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and if that wasn't the one he was supposed to steal, what was the one he was supposed to steal?
Yeah.
So, and it's like, so I just felt, and I know, some of the stuff he likes to make it where you just kind of apply, like at the end of the first one there, where Cinta's flying away with the guy. She's killing him.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's implied and all that, but it's like kind of nothing with the TIE Avenger.
Yeah,
and I love the TIE Avenger
really cool.
and everything with it. And I liked when he was escaping, how they had like the Inquisitor model TIEs were chasing them, and so we got to see those in live action. I mean, it's just like, but what was the point of this?
You can leave it to be implied, but you need to give us a little bit more context
on why. Yeah. So, and I'll just throw a thing out there. If you got, I'll be real discreet, but for people, if you're watching with the younger one, I'm going to touch on that topic. The scene with Bix, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
That was so un-Star Wars to me. And then to have her say the word, didn't need, you'd even, that really, I was like, I don't, I understand the Empire's evil and what you're trying to show. But sometimes you can imply things without, to me, that took Star Wars a little too, and I know I'm an old fuddy-duddy and stuff, but that took it a little too far for me. Like, when you were little and I introduced you to Star Wars and you wanted to consume everything Star Wars, even if some of it maybe was a little bit older for. Someday when you sit down, if your son, likes Star Wars stuff and he gets to a certain age and wants to watch everything, how are you going to...
Exactly.
And I know Andor is meant more for grown-ups and stuff, but you can apply things without actually taking those two. Like Jabba the Hutt has slave girls. I mean, there's things that are just you
don't need it laid out.
You don't need it laid out for you. You just you know what I'm saying. So that was maybe a little too far for me for that I want in my Star Wars.
I agree. Even you mentioned just even them using the word kind of just took you out of it.
Yeah, it made it too back to earthy or something like that.
And I know the contexts are completely different here, so I'm not comparing them one to one.
Right.
But like we talked about this after we saw of The Last Jedi and the jokes that were made and everything and that at the beginning of that, and it's two completely different scenarios.
Yeah,
but the context of saying those words that they're too earthy.
Yeah.
And it strikes you because it's like that doesn't seem like it should be a thing that it doesn't seem to correlate well. But
it's just a little too much for me, I think, in my Star Wars. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I understand what they're trying to
depict, totally.
But I don't think they needed to do it in that way.
Right, I think, I felt like it just wanted a little bit too much.
Yes.
I think you could have applied something without having to show so much. And then, the word it is what it is, but just, I don't know, that just... You shouldn't even. You could have said it in a different. I don't know. I'm just old fashioned or something, I guess. So.
No, I agree with you. There's definitely a different way they could have handled that. And even if they just had that scene and just not use the word after the fact, I think there's storytelling ways you could have implied that something was trying to happen and it got stopped. So
and I'm no. it goes back to when you were little, and I took you to see the live action Transformer movies. Mm-hmm. Some of the potty humor in that didn't need to be in. Didn't do nothing for the story. Didn't need to be in. Now I was, I'm not saying I was ever any angel. I was a teenage kid one time too. I'd use sentence enhancer, but some of that it didn't need to be in there. Then I'd take you to see Transformers because it was a big part of my childhood, and want to enjoy the story of the road. And then it was cringe. Sitting there as a dad with your age at the time, watching that, it was cringy to me. I was like, I don't want I'm here for my son to see the big robots bashing each other, and they actually, you don't need. And it's and again, I'm old fuddy. Duddy.
I think it's relevant though. It's in that context, it's unnecessary.
And to me, look how much better I feel that Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast were when they didn't have they didn't have that as much stuff. Just focus on the story. You don't need to put all that in there for all the just I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
All right, now I'm veering off on another tangent, but I just that was enough of that. So.
What'd you think of? Well, he was one of my favorite characters from the first season, but we lost Brasso. Like really, really fast.
Okay. So again, spoilers and stuff. I almost felt like the first two arcs were like, okay, we got to get rid of this guy, so he's gone, and then and the second arc is like we got to get rid of Sensa somehow. So, this is originally it was supposed to be like 5 or 7 seasons, and Diego Luna said, as much as he loves it, that would have took so much of his life, time in his life. And I respect that stuff. But now I almost feel like after the first season, they had so many characters that we kind of got to know and, are concerned about. Now it's like, okay, you got 12 episodes. You got to figure out what happened to he's bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. I don't know. I mean, it was like, oh man, but I don't know, it just wasn't as impactful as I was especially Brasso happened so quick, and it's like, well, that poor guy came back and did one episode, and it's like, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, and you don't necessarily have to write the characters off. I mean, I know we're invested in them, we want to know what happens to them, but that's kind of the fun mystery of it, of where okay, they were in this, they had to go their separate ways, we don't hear from them again. That's another story you can tell later on.
Yeah, and some of them, okay, let's you make it realistic. You got to get rid of them. And then it's like, are we ever going to see poor B2 again?
Yeah, exactly.
Is he just left there with Brasso's lady and we'll never see him again?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they'll touch on that for the. I don't feel like they can necessarily.
Yeah, because to me,
it's been a year.
Yeah, and you got so much to touch on now. It's like, how rushed is they're going to bring K2SO in now?
Yeah.
Because you only got 6 episodes now. I mean, I almost wonder now if they don't even show him meeting. It's just like, here he is. You know who he is. Mm-hmm. Here he's with them.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I don't know.
They'll say they did a comic. That's how they.
No disrespect to the people who wrote that comic, but that was very unfulfilling when I read that, because I was like, oh, this will be a neat story, and it just was so. Bleh. Yeah. And the same thing I mentioned before, that they did that comic explaining how 3PO had the red arm for The Force Awakens. I was like, not that everything's got to be a big, but it's like that story. Do you even need to be told? That was so just, basic. Like, that didn't even need to be. I would just left that to my imagination.
Yeah,
what
you
happened there?
Allocated the time and storytelling for something else.
Yeah, it wasn't a very compelling story or anything like that. So.
So we were speculating that we were going to get some insight into the Gorman massacre as we were coming into Andor, since they were making alludes to Gorman and stuff like that. So we're not seeing the actual massacre as it was in Legends, because from that one line, that's already happened. Yeah,
so it seems like it's like a little bit of a retcon or something, that, okay, that happened earlier.
Yes.
So which That's too bad. That would have been really neat. I wonder if because there's that controversy going on with Tarkin's Peter Cushing.
Oh yeah, with
his likeness.
Yeah,
that some company says they own his likeness or whatever. So I wonder if they changed it because they're like, well, we can't show him now, so we have to mention this was in the past because it's like it'd be kind of awkward. Oh, here's Tarkin's ship landing on all those people, but you don't see Tarkin, but that's a ship. So so I wonder if was their way of tiptoeing.
I'm guessing
tiptoeing around that. So obviously something else is going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, like they've implied what the repercussions would be if they mined out all that calcite, and like I know it's slow for everybody watching it, but one of the coolest things I've gotten out of this so far is the like. It's like political battles, and I'm not a very political guy. Maybe just normal real life politics don't interest me as much as fake stuff does. But it's interesting to see how they're manipulating people to paint the Gormans in a false light, so that way they can justify coming in there and wrecking havoc.
And very I like my World War II history stuff. Very World War II German.
Yes.
And I'll just touch base. Speaking of that, did you notice the episodes there, the first arc, the Imperial transports, when you looked at them head on, how they look like the little German half-tracks?
Yes,
they look, were they Hanamags? Was that what they were called? Boy, I'm a little rusty if it's really rusty.
It's been a minute. They might have been. But
but as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, that looks like a German World War II half-track coming at you. And I thought, I kind of like that touch just a little bit.
Yeah,
very, cool. Very everything... Very, World War II German age.
Yes.
Yes. And I like that. I like building showing that kind of thing.
It's.
I don't need that. I don't need that in every Star Wars show or movie or whatever. But it's interesting to have a little bit of that.
Yeah, and that's what Andor's been great so far about is like we're so focused on the forefront, the battles, these big
the pew pew and the
exactly. It's fun to see the behind the scenes of like. What are their intentions with that? How did we get to this point? And like the thought process of how the Imperial machine functions and how the rebellion's constantly trying to counter that. And it's fun to see how there are parallels, but then you see where they differ from a character standpoint on how they, what their morality and stuff and like that is. So that's good. That's cool to see. That was cool to see.
It was good to see. It was good to see Saul's group again.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch it again. That part where he was with I forgot his name. The younger kid.
Wilmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilmon.
With the part there where they like took their mask off, I got lost there a little bit. I couldn't understand what they were saying a little bit, so I'm going to watch it.
I might have to rewatch that
with
too,
the caption on because I'm like. What's going on here? Because I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. I was like, okay, why did he take his mask and stuff? But yeah, that was love all those partisan guys. They're pretty cool designs. I like.
Oh yeah.
Especially the two tubes and more off in them. I like them a lot. So
those guys are pretty cool. Saw also seems like he is off his rocker. Even 3 years before, everything kind of goes off.
And I wonder if we'll see him get injured because he didn't have his injuries and stuff yet.
But I read that someone read a hypothesis because he's so, or not a hypothesis. He had a theory because he was so into that. What was it called? Rhodium, the fuel or something like that. He was so into, and he got like some kind of comfort out of that that was just damaging his internals or anything like that. So. It could be, or maybe why he's gone nutty. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see if we get any kind of dynamic between what he's doing and then like what Luthen and Mon Mothma are doing, and to see the conflict there. So it'd be curious.
So with character, we know Mon Mothma survives. We know Andor's fate. Let's look at some of the other characters. We know Saw Gerrera's fate. Are we going to see Luthen bite it?
That's what I'm wondering about. And you made the theory of potentially
what if it's Saul that
takes
does
him out. So I'm very curious to see what happens to Luthen. So he's a heavy hitter that I'd like to know and hopefully they just don't he ran off.
Right? Yeah, he's too involved for him to do that. I'll be really disappointed if they do that. Bix.
Yeah, we don't know what happens to Bix.
Yeah. I feel like if she's going to get killed, something's got to happen to her in the next arc, because if you have her around right before Rogue One, it's going to make Rogue One seem a little weird to me how they implied that Cassian was kind of starting to have feelings for Jen there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't over, but there was a hint there.
There was a hint.
There's a hint that, and if he's just lost Bix, that seems weird to me that all of a sudden it seems too quick for me.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like if something happens to her, it's got to happen in the next 3 episodes, so there's some time to go by.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I really hope they just don't write her off screen or something like that. Or if we see him in the next arc with K2SO and he's talking in past tense and then they take us through that, I feel like we need to see that in real time rather than just a flashback.
So, the main character.
Assuming we get K2SO in the next arc. I really hope so.
Oh,
we need at least half I would think.
Yeah.
Because by the time we meet them in Rogue One, there seems to be history. So we need to see.
Yeah, like they've been together longer than a year.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So very curious.
Dedra and Serial.
Yeah, Serial. I'm enjoying their dynamic. I think it's kind of fun.
I think it's and then I like how she stood up to his mother. So that was fun. It's neat seeing romance from the bad guy side kind of thing. So you think we see them get killed?
I don't know. There's got to be something that happens to them. Because they're another set of characters that we don't have any inkling of, other than the fact. So
here's kind of I'm just going to throw a theory out there. Seems like in every Star Wars, there's got to be some kind of redemption. So I wonder, since they're showing how evil the Empire is, if Dedra is going to get sacrificed somehow, and Cyril is going to be realize, oh my goodness, this is evil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he'll turn and become like a rebel or do something heroic.
And then get killed off.
And then get killed off.
I could see that.
So because it seems there's always got to be a redemption. So maybe he'll be the one that, and then that kind of takes care of them too. So
that would wrap that up pretty nice.
Or maybe we have some kind of battle or something where it's like in Rogue One where all the main people just boom, 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 start dying.
Yeah,
so.
Potentially. Because they're so transfixed on trying to find Luthen and Cassian. So it would be interesting if they even just got into conflict with each other and what happens. But I like that take. I know that the whole redemption arc is way overdone now. But if it happened like that, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have any other motive to, if he were to turn to be a rebel, I don't know. It's just kind of to do it.
I feel like something has to happen to Dedra. And, she's one of my favorite Imperials. That actress has done a great job with with that character. Just looks does a really good job with it. So.
I agree. I've posted this on the Scruffy-Looking podcast Instagram page. So if you're not following us, feel free to check us out on Instagram. But I love the meme from that interaction when they had Cyril's mother over and he's just collapsed on the bed.
Yeah. Did you see that was improvised?
It was unscripted.
It wasn't supposed to. He just did that.
Good.
Yeah.
So
he did a good job of that.
Because even the actress that played Dedra didn't even know he did it until after she watched it, and that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. So we're gonna see Kino again. We got 6 episodes left.
We got 6 episodes. I don't know.
I liked him and everything. I don't know. To me, it might be best just to leave him, let you wonder what happened to him.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of just left in the air, I would say, because there doesn't seem to be any, because we've gone through years now, and it's like...
Oh, we forgot. He's got to become snow.
Oh, he escaped, but he became horrifically disfigured and gained access to the Force.
Did you notice? we never see Snoke swim either.
The parallels are uncanny.
That's got to be it. It's got to be it.
That explains so much.
That
explains so much. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it figured out.
This is the kind of lore building that we needed for the sequel trilogy.
Right, yeah.
They're just trying to fit it in there as much as they can.
Lucasfilm, I'm available.
Quick, hire us on. We can be spokespeople for Star Wars Celebration going to California in 2027, I saw.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later on. We still got to talk about Andor.
Yeah.
I thought they did really well, kind of like working with the trauma that Bix went through from the Dr. Gorski torture. And then it was very satisfying to see kind of like him get taken care of.
All right.
I thought, anyway.
I did too. But to me, that was almost too easy.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, okay, we gotta wrap that. And it's like, how did she get in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just seemed a little, you're on course, all the Imperial presence and stuff, and she just, it was rewarding to see her get her revenge on it, but it's like, just, how'd you get it? And then you have one Imperial officer, she's walking out, hey, you're not supposed to be here, and it's like, and it's like,
and then nothing.
Right, it's like, so that seemed a little odd to me how they handled that. So
well, I mean, I guess they could be insinuating that the Imperials, they don't think
they're so arrogant. Nobody would do anything on their
and especially with that
planet.
Big explosion. I think it was kind of more to send a signal, and that might
right,
be what they could be alluding with that.
You think you're safe here, but you're not safe here. So what do you think of the little heist at the end, where the the Gorman rebels?
Oh yeah, when they commandeered the
then Cinta got killed.
Yeah, I think
that goes back to how I feel like the big thing at the end of the arc just kind of
it kind of fell flat.
I mean, I was expecting that there'd be some. I realized they were letting them get by with that to use it as an excuse, but that just kind of seemed.
It just completed. It's how am I trying to say this? They're setting up the story, and then it happens exactly how they said it was going to happen, and then there's no big wow really in it. It's just kind of like we're just seeing it carry out.
Yeah, and I get what they're trying to do there with Cinta getting killed by the friendly fire, and and all what they was going with for that, but it's like that just. I feel like even something had to go on someplace else at the same time that was kind of a bigger event or something. It just I don't know. It just didn't have a big wow. Even when she got killed, even though she's one of our characters that have been around for the whole series, like it just didn't.
Just kind of fell flat.
The impact wasn't. It wasn't there for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting to see that. Well, we were talking about seeing the parallels of the Rebels and the Empire having shared kind of like thought process, but then they veer off. So everything happened according to like how both sides wanted it to happen, and now we get to see the result of this is how the Rebels wanted it, or Luthen wanted it to go, and then the Empire wanted it to go, and we'll see what happens with that.
But now we jump a year, so are we going to explain to us what that event, how it affected where we're at in a year, or you know what I'm saying?
That's a really good point, because like a year from now, are we going to be like, okay, are they? What's going on? Are they harvesting the planet now because they got the evidence we need? Are we talking in past tense? Because you can't tell me that this happened and then it took a whole year before something else happened.
Are they going to do the whole implied thing? Well, this triggered this, and this is where we are now. All these events happen in between here. You can kind of figure that out, but this is where we're at.
Yeah,
where we're at now with it.
I feel like that leaves a lot to be desired in that. I appreciate it when film directors and stuff treat the audience like they're smart. I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of movies and media that that dumb it down way too much. But there's a fine balance. Like, yes, we can figure it out, but also you need to make sure the context is there and not skip beats all the time, especially if these are heavy hitting events that we need to see happen and unfold. So I appreciate it, but at the same time, there's a balance. And I feel like season 2 so far is giving us a lot of more just like, you'll figure it out. It's implied.
Yeah.
It's, you got the loose context, but we need more concrete stuff. So, what else? So there was the heist, and then I don't know.
Yeah, the big wedding and
the wedding was fun to see, but I agree with you. It seemed like it dragged on a little bit. But to see Chandrilan tradition and stuff like that was kind of fun. And
Mon Mothma, quite the
tearing
dancer.
it up on the dance floor. If you want to get more of that, I saw on the official Star Wars YouTube channel they uploaded a 1-hour loop of the Niamos disco music and Mon Mothma dancing for an hour. So if you want to watch that, keep that in the background.
Somebody's got to do that and then put the SpongeBob Jellyfish Jam music with her dancing like that.
That would be good. Put some rave, change the lighting and stuff. That'd be good. That'd be good.
I like Krennic.
Krennic's doing great.
Krennic's again one of my favorite Imperials. So it's good to see more of him and his little fancy
his duds.
The duds he's got going on there. So
no, that was cool.
Is Mon Mothma taking over Padme's position of having the most wardrobe, like the fanciest and most outfit changes?
She's got to be up there, I would say, because goodness, she's worn about a different outfit almost every time we've seen her. I know they've implied that several days. Well, they did the same with Padme too.
Just in Padme, it was kind of the look at all the outfit kind of now. Mon Mothma's taking that over.
If they made action figures of Mon Mothma, we'd have 7 of them by now, just different outfits.
Back in the old days, they don't crank them out like they used to, unfortunately. So, who do you think? You think there's any surprise? We got to touch on Bail.
Yes.
Okay, so that actor, I'm not familiar with him. I thought he did a good job.
Yes.
I would have loved to seen him as a main character, as another character.
Yes.
Not for as long as Jimmy Smits had played Bail Organa. That really took me out of it.
I agree.
When it wasn't him.
Yes.
That it went from a moment where I would have been like, "All right, look, there's Bail," to and then that's not a knock on that actor.
He did a great job.
He did a good job. I thought his mannerism, for the brief time we saw him, I thought his mannerism, made me think Bail, but it's like, when you knew he was going to do season 2 and the time it took how do you not, you had to have some idea he's going to need Bail Organa in it. How do you not, ahead of time, work something with Jimmy Smith's schedule to make, because it's not like he just played, I can't think of her, the lady that played Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi. You see her for 2 minutes. It's not like we saw Bail Organa. Jimmy Smith played Bail Organa for 2 minutes in a movie. I mean,
he's been in
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, Kenobi. When he's been in the cartoons, they've even stylized the cartoon modeled after him. He's been him for so long now. It just, especially for an event as big as this, leading into. Because it's obvious we're probably going to see him again.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was probably their way of, okay, we had to change him, so here's a little taste of it, just so when it gets to the big moment, you're ready for it. It's not the regular guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, that was disappointing to me. To me, that was a big miss. And again, no disrespect to that.
No,
I would love to see him as another character or something. I think he looked good, and I think he would have been great as another rebel leader or something like that.
It's just the fact that it was a scheduling issue is the only reason. It seems like you needed to get that flushed out.
Yeah, it seems like a big miss not having that worked out to do that. So
with the technology these days, you think they would put something together couple months from the last episode being released and like remaster all those episodes and actually put Jimmy in there? You think? I doubt it.
Well, that's like the technology, how much Luke looked better than in Book of Boba Fett, even then when he did at the end of Mandalorian season 2, where they've come so far with that. I wish they'd go back to Rogue One. I didn't think Tarkin looked bad and Leia looked too bad. I mean, you could tell, but I didn't think since they got the better technology, I wish they would go back on little things like that and invest and make it even better.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know if how people had a fit about some of the changes in the special editions. If that's just something they're afraid to. Well, they went back and with Yoda and the prequels and changed that. So
I mean, I don't see why not. It's just a matter of if they want to do it, I guess.
Yeah, they're like, probably why spend the money on that. But
yeah, so.
So characters you think any surprises you think we might see? Vader, Emperor. I'd say Tarkin's probably definitely out.
Tarkin's more than likely out, I would say. See, I want to.
The Emperor got name dropped.
The Emperor got name dropped, and I appreciate how they've kind of given him this kind of like elusive feel to where like he's overseeing everything, but it's very hard to get to him.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that. I don't know if I want to see Vader in
I don't feel like I need to.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Who else could? I think when the time comes where Mon Mothma is like, she flees and they have the thing in Rebels where, she's brought to them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having like a brief cameo from Rebels characters.
Yeah, I could.
It just has to be. They can just be standing there and something. They don't have to have any speaking. And like I think I mentioned before, that'd be a good way to get a live action Kanan.
Yeah, that would be like the perfect. Time to put him in.
Yeah, and that'd be neat. Do we see like Wedge or Biggs or?
I would think there'd be
red leader or gold leader or somebody.
Do they cast a younger Princess Leia? And do we see her around this time?
Yeah, Yeah, it'd be interesting.
It would be.
We're going to get 3PO and R2.
Yeah, are they going to pop up?
Yes, I mean, there's some.
They definitely have a good pool to work with if they want to bring in another surprise.
Like I said, I'm cool with them being just in the background there. I
mean, they don't need to do anything.
Big group of rebels or whatever, they can just pan the assembly or whatever, and you can be like, oh, hey, there's the. There they are, and they can just be standing there or something. So
no, I'd be perfectly fine with just something like that. But yeah, they definitely have a lot of room to where they can make a surprise appearance or a surprise cameo or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see it. I'm just very interested to see where we go moving forward, because like they're really focused on the Gorman stuff happening now. Since we're going to jump a year, like I said, I can't see it where it would take a year for anything major to happen in Gorman. So in this year jump, something the big thing would have happened had to have already happened on Gorman. So now where are we going?
Yeah.
Are we is things ramping up? Are we getting into more battles? Are we sabotaging more?
I hope the climax of the third arc and the fourth arc give us more than what the first two arcs have so far. I mean, I feel like I need some really big woo moments there.
I agree.
So
I agree. I did like, I watched someone kind of do a breakdown of the episodes that we've gotten so far. So for the first arc and the second arc, they said something about there being kind of like themes for the arc, where the first 3 episodes were focused on sacrifice. We lost Brasso. Willimon had to leave the girl that he was seeing there on that planet and things of that nature. There was just sacrifice that needed to happen. And then the second arc that we got, episodes 4 through 6, seemed to focus more of like, what are we fighting for as a rebellion? And, they're focusing on like the relationship aspects of like Bix and Cassian, the drama with that being in a war, and things of that sort of nature with, is it Vel? It's not Vel. It's Vel. And Cinta's relationship and everything like that. It's focused on what they're fighting for. So I'm curious what to see what this next arc's going to be about.
we was talking about what happens to characters. What about Vel and like Mon Mothma's daughter and her husband and stuff?
Oh yeah.
I mean, does something maybe happen to them that helps push her over the edge to take that step to the that next step up to being the leader of the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah, they'd have to explain at least what would happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, the way their relationship is, I don't think she'd care less if something happens to her husband, but her daughter maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Vel, so.
So yeah, they still have a lot to cover, and I just hope it's not just bing bang boom.
Yeah, and I hope they don't leave just a lot of stuff to be implied too. What happened. I want some wow moments.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Oh, I liked at the beginning when they tell you the year, like 1 year later, or whatever.
Yeah.
That they use the bong thing from Ferrix.
Yeah,
I thought that
cool.
was a neat little touch.
I liked that too.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. Too.
Yeah, so that was a cool little addition to put in there, just to kind of remember where this all was kind of stemming from.
We gotta know what happens to the bong guy.
What happened to the guy that rang the...
There was always, everybody wanted the action figure of the ice cream guy from Cloud City that's running. Yeah. That needs to be the next campaign. Is we need the bong guy from Ferrix.
I agree.
I'm gonna start that. We need that.
Yeah, we'll start a petition, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start that. When they do the top 25 thing for the vintage figures, I'm gonna vote for him. He's gonna be my vote. And I'm just gonna call him the bong guy.
The bong guy.
Well, no, I better not, because that kind of sounds druggy.
The gong guy from Ferrix.
The gong guy for Ferrix. Or how on the card, like it would, the old school, it'd say like Stormtrooper Hoth battle gear.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Gong Guy Ferrix.
Yeah, I like it.
Implying that there's Gong different Gong guys.
He's got his hammers. He's got the big anvil thing that he was ringing. Yeah. Yes. I'd buy one. I'd buy one.
Yeah, I'd have that.
And
then you need the tower playset too to put them in.
See, this
with
is
sound.
Exactly. See, this is you could run with this, Hasbro. You could absolutely run with this. Yeah, that'd be good. And then
I can imagine when you was a kid, for hours you just sitting there having it gong and have it shake the hole, and all the troopers fall down and everything. Yeah. And then they hire Boba Fett to go
take them out.
Take them out. Yeah.
There's stories here that we could be.
But then we can have Gong Guy and Carbonite after Boba Fett gets them. He can be holding his little hammers.
Well, they really need to get us on the market.
We got it. We got to write this. We got it. It's gold. It's gold.
I'd even take it as an alarm to wake up in the morning. Oh. Okay. Well, I think that covers everything that I can think of to mention of the first half.
Like I said, liking it, not quite loving it like I wanted to, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I just wish it had a little more in that final episode of the 2 arcs so far.
Yes.
So I'm still excited. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Very curious to see what happens for the next 2 arcs that come up. Now, before we get into the next half, for the next topics that we got here for the episode, Dad, I have an issue. I want to watch the podcast, but I also want to be able to watch it while I drive. Now, I know that is not a good thing to do and not very safe to try and watch the podcast while I am driving to my commute, whether I'm just going out of town or going on the highway, or honestly, while I'm just doing chores, because I got to focus on doing chores and not focus in so much on us talking. If only there was a solution to take care of that, so where I wouldn't have to focus in visually watching the podcast in order to take in our information.
That's almost a scruffy scratcher.
That is almost a scruffy scratcher. But I think we have a solution. For those of you who are going on your long commutes, and for those of you who just need to get some things done around the house and can't sit down to watch the podcast, you can now listen to the podcast on Spotify. So yes, starting from this episode, you can now find every single one of our Scruffy-Looking podcast episodes on Spotify.
We still going to be on Spotify?
We still going to be on Spotify. Yes. So, all you have to do is look up...
Bombad.
Just look up the Scruffy-Looking podcast on Spotify, and you should be able to stream us. As long as you have a Spotify account, you should be able good to go. So you can listen to us while you're on the go. And you should be able to watch, if you want to watch the video episodes, our videos, if you want to watch them on Spotify, you can do that as well. But personally, for me, I prefer, if I'm going to watch a podcast, I'll do that on YouTube. I'll listen to it on Spotify. So, we'd love to have you here on YouTube, but if it works better for you, if you're making your long Kessel run, trying to beat Han Solo's record, or whatever it is you're up to, and you need something to listen to, check us out on Spotify. All right, Dad, so we got a lot of interesting stuff announced at Celebrations of Japan, or at Japan. And I know in previous episodes we were really curious what we were going to get because there didn't seem to be a lot on the plate to expect announcements. But there was some pretty cool stuff, or at least a couple cool things that I thought. And one of them's actually coming soon, this weekend. As of recording this Sunday, May the 4th, Tales of the Underworld, which I was, when I saw the title, I was very curious. When I saw who the stories were going to be about, still curious, but I wish it was something else at the same time. I would love to hear the stories of Ventress and of Cad Bane, which is what we're going to follow. But when I saw Tales of the Underworld, I was hoping maybe we were going to get a bunch of bounty hunter stories. You know what I mean? And that still leaves room up to get it. I know we've talked about on the podcast before that we wanted to hear more stories of different bounty hunters and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
So I can't fully remember what the trailer had in store, but I think we're going to get like just background stories for Cad Bane and stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks like he's got like some kind of conflict with his brother or some relative or something. And then I noticed on some of the scenes, I wonder if they must be flashbacks to earlier in his life because he didn't have the hoses going to his face that he modified himself with. Yeah. So I mean, I'm curious. It should be fun.
Yeah, I agree. It should be a fun watch.
Here's a wild take.
What you got?
Okay, so it's obvious. Asajj has this little boy Padawan.
Yes.
That been abandoned or whatever. What if that's Jod?
Ooh, I like that. That could be. Do you think they would tie that together like that?
Well, that's one way they could tie it together.
That is one way.
I don't know if they mentioned that Padawan's name or not. I haven't seen it.
No, I don't think.
But I saw that and I was like, what if that's a young Jod?
Because that would be.
And then after he witnesses his master get killed, and stuff.
Ooh, because she was well into like the piracy and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I know he wasn't a traditional Jedi. She took him. In when she was on the run, right? So,
yeah.
So maybe.
Dude, that's a good theory. I'm curious.
I mean, probably not, but I saw. I was like, that'd be kind of a fun time.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, and then we get to see Marek.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe she kills him, and then somehow the witch magic is what.
I would guess.
Yeah.
I would guess. But yeah, it'd definitely be. It'd be an interesting watch. Very curious. Very curious.
Wonder if we'll see, because I wonder if you'll see. Well, there's not a lot of time in them little episodes, but I wonder if like Quinlan Voss and the. The path. Yeah. Maybe we'd see something with. Maybe he'd be one of that. Padawan would be one of the first ones to get saved through. Yeah, potentially that or something.
Because there was a book. Didn't Voss and Asajj have like a relationship?
Yeah, they fell in love. That was it. Dark Disciple, I think, and then she actually dies. So somehow they gotta explain how she's still around.
Was that canon or was that legend?
It's legends now.
Okay,
but yeah,
I couldn't remember.
It was supposed to be, if they would have made those were supposed to be episodes in the Clone Wars. So if that would have happened, then it would have been canon. But yeah, so wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm excited. I like those characters. I'd like to see what happens with them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that'd be good. I think it'll be good. Let's see. What else can we cherry pick from celebrations? Well, I guess this will be a big one. I'm very curious on where they're going to go with it. But Maul. What was it? Maul's Shadow Lord or something like that?
Uh-huh.
So Sam Witwer coming back to voice Darth Maul, and I can only assume it's just to bring context to what he's been up to.
I kind of feel like this is when they did Solo, they was planning on doing some live action show, and this is taking place of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably see Kira and stuff in this, and I guess, the speculation that Twi'lek is going to be Darth Talon.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that'd be neat. I know that was George Lucas's original idea for the sequel trilogy, was that she was going to be Maul's apprentice. Yeah. So maybe, that'll end up being her or something. So that'd be cool to get her canonized. Neat. But, I'm sure this is probably some of the stuff we would have seen if there's like a Solo 2 or something like that. It's probably going to get...
Because I can imagine they had a lot of stuff on the table when Solo came out, and when it got the bad reception it did, and everything. Which I can't remember what your standing was on that, because I thought Solo was good.
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was a good fun.
There was a couple things I wish would have been done different, but it was fun. Especially after coming after Last Jedi, I needed Solo. Like I said, Last Jedi is the first time I left a Star Wars movie and I wasn't smiling. I was just like, and Solo was fun to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect by any means.
No, but
it was fun.
It was a good, fun.
And I would have liked to seen more of it. It's too bad that's not going to happen. But,
I wish they would have done more with that. And even with the talks of that Donald Glover Lando movie, that would have been awesome to see him reprise that role. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I think they didn't get enough. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, so. I thought so too.
Yeah.
But yeah, very curious where the story of the Maul Shadow Lord, where that'll take us. And now we got to talk about the greatest title I think I've seen for a Star Wars movie, Star Wars Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling.
That sounds like a video game title to me. I'll keep my mind open with it, but some of these, I don't like the Mandalorian and Grogu either. Give me something that makes me curious about what it was. What it's about. Starfighter. I mean,
it's not even like Star Wars X-Wing or like
Star Wars. I mean, that's another thing we're gonna have. Star Wars hyperspace.
Star Wars land speeder.
Yeah. And then another movie takes place on Tatooine. Star Wars sand. Just very and maybe it's just a temporary. Well, I thought Mandalorian Grogu was going to be a temporary title too. Hopefully, it's just a temporary placeholder title or something like that. But probably not. I mean, it seems like they would have had the title all ready to go. Yeah, that's just very. And then what they say 5 years after Rise of Skywalker, so it'd be
keep an open mind.
For sure.
Just like it's not very alluring to bring in, especially since that's all that we got from it. That it was the name and the star.
Yeah,
that was about it.
Yeah, I don't.
So I like Ryan Gosling though, so I'm curious to see what it is, but just very underwhelming announcement, I guess. So what else did we get?
And they showed footage from Mandalorian and Grogu that I didn't see. Wink, wink, wink. Now, surely May 4th they drop that to the public, don't they?
You would think.
So, I mean, it would be cool to see Grogu swimming sometime. Not that I ever saw that before. And wink, never.
Yeah.
Maybe he's given Kino swimming lessons.
Oh, and then
he drowns and he becomes Snoke.
That's what happens. He gets revived.
We're figuring this out. They can't fool us.
We're making the connection. Someone give me the red string on a corkboard right here.
Hey, we need to do that.
We can put it right there.
I like that. I never thought about the snowtroopers that the cloth part of their mask was actually. I thought that was neat. I like that. I was like, and then when that's not pulled up, they kind of look like some of the old McQuarrie art.
Yeah, I thought
I like that. Now I'm trying to remember when I saw the AT-ATs. When I saw the AT-ATs that I didn't see.
Right.
I swear when I saw the trailer, like the leak from last year, the AT-ATs had like traditional AT-AT heads on them, like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And now they don't.
Did they not?
No, they're different. So did they ended up decided to change them? They don't look like traditional headed AT-ATs now. They're another like variant or something.
Are we to assume by this time, are they trying to transfer into what ends up being I don't remember what they're called, but what the First Order had, that their variant of
the giant one. That had like a gorilla feet.
So. Yeah, so maybe they're trying to
I mean, that makes sense, like, World War II, you had all the different models of P-51 Mustang. They made them better and better and better and stuff. So, but I'm pretty sure the leak from last year, they had like the original, like Empire Strikes Back looking cockpit heads on them, and they're changed now. So that was. And Zeb, good to see.
Yeah, good to see Zeb.
Well, it would have been good to see Zeb if we'd seen Zeb.
Right, exactly. If they would have shown, would have shown anything with Zeb, it would have been nice to see.
But surely they dropped that this weekend.
I would hope. They've been sitting on this stuff for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. But at least we have what we didn't, what we didn't watch. We have that with us too.
Yeah.
So they also announced another season of the Star Wars Visions, which I know you haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Just not my.
Yeah.
I need to give them a chance. Just not something that appeals to me. So
they're just. I took them as fun interpretations from different animation studios, which I think that was the intent. They just wanted to give the Star Wars IP to different animation studios and let them run with it, and it was cool. Yeah. I mean, like I wasn't anything like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever, but it was interesting.
Yeah, sometime I'll give them a chance.
Yeah, so I'll probably watch through these and stuff, but yeah, so I don't think they're too bad. And is that all the big hitters? I know they released a thing about another thing of that Rebuild the Galaxy, the Lego Star Wars thing, which I haven't watched those. I'm a sucker for funny
that
Lego
video game, that new video game.
The Zero Company, Star Wars Zero Company, which seemed interesting. The more that's come out about that since the release, it seems like it's really well. There's a lot of content in there, so I'm curious to see how that develops and stuff. It was an interesting take. I didn't think that they would release, because it's like a turn-based tactical combat thing from what I've understood, and I wouldn't have expected them to go with that.
I thought it was neat. One of the characters was an Umbaran too. Yeah, I was like, well, hey, that's some species or wherever you wouldn't expect to see. So I thought that was kind of a neat little...
I thought that was cool too.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat little...
And was there anything else?
I'm trying.
I think those were the heavy hitters.
I think that was the main things anyway. So, and then we got Ahsoka 2 that they're working on. So we got the first glimpse of.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Balin's replacement. He looked good.
I thought he looked good.
He looked good. So.
Yeah, he obviously, face is a little different, but I thought he looked the stature. Yeah,
it's going to take me a little like the thing with Bail Organa. It's going to take me a little bit of a. Okay, but I think he'll do good. So, and then of course sounds like Hayden's going to be back in that. So
yeah, it'll be good.
And then I see they're teasing some reunions of Rebels characters. So we'll probably get like a Zeb and a Ezra.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I hope that's a lot better than when Sabine and Ezra. That kind of fell flat. It's like you've been looking for each other for 10 years and
just
and then that wasn't very. Although I guess it's kind of really sometimes in real life moments that you think are going to be really big or just kind of like
So
I guess it
yeah. So well, exciting stuff to see come out in the next couple of years for sure.
Oh, and then they mentioned something about a big naval space battle between Akbar and Thrawn.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
That will be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be very cool to see. Like there are two like tactics go against each other and how that works. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Really cool.
that should be. Hoping we see a lot of space combat.
Yes.
I'd love to maybe see some E-wings and some space combat, and please, Thrawn's involved somewhere on that Chimera. Please tell me he had one TIE Defender left.
Yes,
because I want to see a TIE Defender in live action.
That would be so
I
cool.
love seeing the TIE Avenger and Andor. TIE Defender's one of my favorites. Just once. Just give it to me in live action.
Once. That would be cool.
Have them be like, oh, look what was tucked back behind all that. I have one of these left.
Oh, we'll send that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to see. Because that's definitely a favorite one of mine too. Those are just cool.
And then it'd be, well, my mind starts thinking, you're having a big space battle. Could you have Wedge? Could Wedge be there?
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. To see some old pilot stuff like that come back. Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah. So, yeah, plenty of good stuff to look forward to. Absolutely.
Oh, and Akbar makes me think Radis. Give me some Radis in this final episodes of Andor when they're showing all the rebels gather up. Love me some Admiral Radis.
Yeah, I got to get some more of that Radis. Yeah. Yes.
We need a Radis Akbar together moment.
Surely they could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just they're the same species. You'd think they'd get into conversation or something.
Have them be like old sailing buddies or something like that. Oh, with you, everything's a trap or something.
Even if it's just like they're communicating through like a hologram or something like that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, so hopefully by the time this episode airs, we got 6 more episodes of Andor to go through, and then then we'll have Tales of the Underworld to talk about and stuff. And
then I think we have a long drought until
so we'll have
Mandalorian and Grogu.
Have to figure out some filler for that stuff. We still have yet to talk about. My wife was gracious enough to remind me that I missed the 20th anniversary release date of Revenge of the Sith, so I didn't do anything to celebrate that. But we'll have to talk about that because that's been a heavy hitter for this year. That's the 20th
we'll have to
anniversary for
maybe
that.
touch on that after we get done with the final of Andor and Underworld stuff.
Yeah, so stay tuned because we still got plenty of other stuff to talk about in the in-between too. Star Wars is expansive. And our knowledge base, I'm sure we can pull stuff out.
And we'll figure out more mystery of the Kino swimming and Snoke.
Yeah, the connection is there. We will find it.
I'm going to dig deeper into this.
We will. This is the lore building that the sequel trilogy needed. We will fill those gaps.
Yep. You know how Anakin didn't like sand. Kino does not like water. So see, and that's going to lead to him turning to the dark side.
It's going to drive him that far, and and then he doesn't like water so much that he blows up plenty of planets that probably have water on them. I would say.
He's anti-water. Yeah. I'm figuring it out.
We got this. Well, that's going to wrap things up for today's episode. If you liked it, be sure to show us by liking down below. And to stay up to date with us, please consider subscribing and following us on Spotify and Instagram. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
You will listen to us on Spotify.
You will listen to us on Spotify.